Hi, good evening, and welcome to the Jon Gaunt Livestream live show. Tonight, you pick some subjects. If there's something that you really want to talk about, would you please put it in the comments, and that can be part of our debate. I'm going to talk about Trump versus Kahn. It's all getting a bit stupid now, isn't it? The insults flying across the Atlantic. I'm asking the big question, where's Wally? Where is Keir Starmer? He's making a big speech on Friday telling us how we should fly our flag or when we should fly it. He kind of misses it every moment, doesn't he? He's got it wrong again. We're going to talk about Farage Syndrome, the idea that he's living rent-free in some people's heads, particularly Ed Davey, the boss of the Liberal Democrats. But it's an open debate. So if you've got something that you want to talk about, let me hear it. I'm going to start off straight away with one today. Where's it gone? Here it is. Curse 10 says, indeed, Gaunty, where is Starmer? Is he hiding from the public or the plotters in Parliament scheming to oust him? I don't know. But one thing I do know is in even more trouble because of this funding row with Morgan McSweeney, his number one advisor. Evidently, they had over 700 grand, and he was advised to say, it's just a mistake. We forgot to put it in the accounts. Yeah, that'll go down well. This could be the thing that brings Starmer down. Why is Putin poking the stick at NATO when we're all told Putin's army is smashed? That's a good question from Magpie 1972. Like I've always said, I don't believe that Russia is this great big baddie, not the people anyway. And I certainly don't believe in the old adage, the Reds in the bed, the Reds are coming. I think successive governments have used Russia as a bogeyman, and they're trying to do it again. That said, Putin should not be doing what he's doing in Ukraine. And it's weird how Trump has done a complete reversal on that. He now wants Ukraine to smash Russia, but he's not giving them any more weapons. The only thing I know about Ukraine and Russia, I don't want one spot of British blood spilt there. Where do you stand on it? Get in touch. Let's have a conversation. This is a bit of a test to see whether, when I introduce phones, whether people will want to phone in with subjects that they want to talk about. Let me just tell you what I've got on my agenda today, but I've not got a huge agenda deliberately. I want this show to be slightly different. So, welcome to the show. I'm Jon Gaunt, as you know, and we're diving into the biggest political debates, but with you setting the agenda. I'm going to kick off with Trump versus Kahn. I'll read out some of their quotes about each other in a moment. But I'm also asking, where's Keir Starmer? Now, you know where I stand. I think he's a stinking coward. I think he's hiding till Friday. He's going to make this speech on Friday about the flag, which is totally ill-timed, mistimed, and is going to go down like a pork pie at a bar mitzvah, if I'm still allowed to use that term. And then next week, it's the Labour conference. There's going to be blood on the floor, but you watch. By the end of it, the mainstream media lackeys will be saying, oh, yeah, he's reasserted himself. He's done this, he's done that. Well, I hope he talks about Lord Mandelson. I hope he talks about selling out Israel and us to terrorists. I want to talk about that tonight. Niven Cases already sent me an email on that subject. But if you've got a view on that, let's talk about it. It's going to be wide-ranging tonight. A bit like an old-fashioned, gaunty phone-in, but without the phones. Also, this Farage Syndrome they're going on about. How people are going mental about Nigel Farage. One level, they're saying, oh, Farage, he's got no chance. We're going to hammer him. He's an idiot. He hasn't worked out any of his plans. But I see he's way ahead in the polls again today. And then on another level, people like Ed Davey made a speech yesterday. I had an interview yesterday. 38 times he mentioned Farage. Farage is living rent-free in Ed Davey's head. He's the leader of the Lib Dems, in case you don't know who he is. But he's also living, I reckon, in Keir's head, because Keir keeps coming up with what I would call reform light policies, L-I-T-E. The latest being he's going to try and take control of the flag, or flags, flag of St. George and the Union flag and say it's all about unity and diversity and all the rest of it, it's going to go down abysmally. I'm predicting it now. He hasn't got a chance with a speech like that. Just be yourself, Keir. If you know who yourself is, that's the problem, isn't it? You have to be authentic. You have to be genuine. But maybe if you're hiding things, it's hard to be authentic. I don't know, but I want to talk about that today. So nothing is off limits. I also want to talk about lefties. I've been looking at my X line today, or Twitter. I basically said I thought Trump was brilliant yesterday. I think he said what most people think about the other countries apart from the States, and about the fact they want the States to pick up the tab all the time, and that our countries are being wrecked by the twin evils of illegal immigration, and indeed the green policies that are being put in place too early. It's going to bankrupt us, all of this. And today I just saw on the news, they're bragging now because we've sent people back, and the first family of French people have come over. Well, they're not French. They're immigrants who we're having in. They're part of the one in, one out. Only thing is, there's 4 of them. And I think we've deported 4 so far. However, 6,000 have come in since Starmer got into power. Since he put the one in, one out policy in place. It's not going to work. We need a proper deterrent. Let's get your opinion on that. And by the way, they're predicting thousands will come over this weekend because the weather is going to be good. Calm in the channel. So where do you stand on that? They're just a few of my subjects, but let's hear what you want to talk about. Let's do something different. Let's go straight to some of your comments. Darren Cummings says, evening, John. The UN's treatment against Trump must be escalators and teleprompter. Disgusting lefties. Yeah, I guess what you're trying to say there, Darren, is, was there a conspiracy to stitch him up? Yeah, there was. You imagine what he, and more importantly, his wife, the First Lady, they've just got on the first or second step of the escalator. It goes up and it shudders and stops. She nearly falls back into Donald Trump. The first thought that would have gone through their brains is this an assassination attempt? Now, I know they were in the UN building at this point, but I think that was a fix. I think somebody did that deliberately to try and put him off. And then the teleprompter, Darren, come back at me and tell me whether you agree with me. You're on X. I believe that what actually happened there was they wanted to put him off, but he didn't need the teleprompter. He stood there and spoke for an hour without a script. And then today, loads of lefties slagging him off, saying he sounded like a senile old man. He was this, he was that, and he was lying. Well, and some of the language they've used today and the aggression. Why is it always the lefties who are meant to be BLM and be kind? They're the most foul animals when it comes to Twitter and Facebook. Just some of the disgusting stuff they've written today. They use the C word like it's going out of fashion. But then the rest of it is so violent. The imagery is violent. And then people wonder why what happens 2 weeks ago and today in Texas, and if you heard about this, there's been a shooting at an immigration center. And on the bullets, they've written anti-statements against Trump and his immigration policies. We can't live in a world like this, can we? Because what happens in America today, a few weeks later, normally happens here as well. But it's the left wing who are stirring it up. I'm absolutely convinced of this. Do you agree with me? So that's just one thing. Darren, thanks for putting that on the agenda. If you've got something you'd like to put on, just feel free. We've already got Russia. Now we've got the lefties. Let's see what this. Trump talking about an autism cure. That can't be true, says Graham Fletcher. Well, Graham, I'll tell you something about that. I think it's nonsense. I do. Paracetamol has been used for so long. It's not like thalidomide. It would have come out before now. That said, Big Pharma, you know, they're the biggest lobby group in Washington. The amount of money that is pumped into the drugs business. Now, not with paracetamol, because it's been around forever, so there's not still got the profit in it. But I can't see that there's a link. I think he's got a right to say it. And I notice he's now got Asim Malhotra, who I like. He's a decent guy. He's a cardiologist. He's working with Kennedy. Because there is something about those COVID injections. I don't know. Now, you know I was pro the vaccination, so I can't deny that. I can't hide that. But I do now stop and wonder when it's a story about Big Pharma, PH, not FA. But Graham, no, the paracetamol, I think it's absolutely ludicrous. Right, so you're getting the idea of what we're trying to do tonight. We're asking you to chuck some ideas in and we'll debate them. And if you see somebody put an idea in that you want to take up, take it up. And we'll have a chat about it today. So it's a different kind of program. If you're liking what I'm doing, press the like button. And of course, if you'd like to donate, it's www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt. I haven't got a clue what you're going to bring up. Well, I kind of know because I've been in the business long enough. But it's your agenda mainly tonight. Let's just talk about Sadiq Khan. He's come back on Trump and he's accused him of being racist, sexist, misogynistic, and Islamophobic, following what Trump said at the UN yesterday when he called Kahn a terrible, terrible mayor. Well, I don't think in calling him a terrible, terrible mayor, there's anything there that is racist, sexist, misogynistic, or Islamophobic. He just thinks you're crap at your job. Now, of course, Sadiq, you could point to the fact you've been elected 3 times. And the line he came out with about London heading towards Sharia law, well, he's kind of right. All the leftists today were saying he talked about Sharia courts. He didn't. He said it's heading towards Sharia law. Well, there are Sharia courts, just like there's Jewish courts. It doesn't mean that they can try criminal cases. They can't. But it's more for civil matters, property, divorce, etc. But there's been, and they're called councils. There's 30 of them in London alone. Now, some people, and it's been around for a long time, this, have criticised them, saying that they're misogynistic. That if it's a divorce case, they always seem to find much more in favour of the man, the Muslim man, than the woman. Not me saying this. A lot of this is coming from Muslim or feminist rights groups. I've covered this subject many times. So as per usual, it's not black and white. There's areas of grey. But we've seen stories in London where some Muslims, radicals, have tried to set up no-go areas. We can't have that. And by the way, I know there's Jewish courts. Somebody said, oh, yeah, well, there's even Church of England, canon law. It's not on the same scale. And I hate it when people, especially on the left, try and equate the two. It's bollocks, right? Let's try and have a grown-up debate. Kahn also used the term that Trump is living rent-free. He's living rent-free in Trump's head, implying that Trump fixates on him and his role as a Muslim mayor of a liberal, multicultural city. It's not true. It's not true. You just see racism everywhere, Sadiq. It's not happening. Now, you may disagree with me on that. Let's get your views. God, there's already a load of subjects to talk about, isn't there? Ed Davey says digital corals. Ed Davey and his marching band. That was epic comedy. You're right. It was absolute crap. What planet is he on? And then yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before? He did a photo op where all the liberals, they all went for a swim in the morning. Oh, God, you should have seen it. I'm glad there was no Japanese whaling boats about, and that's just the fellas. And then they played tennis or something on the beach, like you do, because they want to come over as ordinary working people, yeah? And then they ruined it because they had Davey dive on the floor and he falls over in the sand. But then they got him to do it 2 or 3 times. So it was all posed. It was all cobblers. Why do they treat us, all political parties, like morons? So let's talk about him. Do you think he would ever get elected? I don't think he's got a chance ever. Stuart Lowe's put 2 thumbs up. Thank you, Stuart, for that. And Andy Hatcher says, hey up, Gaunty. I'm here again, but this time I've departed the UK for Portugal for a while. I don't blame you. We shall have that peer upon my return, my friend. Yeah, my old friend, he says, I used to meet him on the train. We will, mate. Have a good time in Portugal. Nice talking to you. Shared near the Bolton area, says Stuart Lowe. If you are sharing the stream, thank you very much indeed. It really helps. Can I also say thank you to everybody who's been subscribing? The subscription figures are going through the roof. And I've got to tell you now, in terms of views, we're now up to 1.1 million. It's slightly higher than that, but we'll keep it in round figures for the moment. This podcast is going places. Thank you for your help. And of course, thank you for your donations. Don't forget, it's www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt, or press that little $sign down there on the screen. Starmer is at Port Vale watching his Arsenal. They're watching the Arsenal. More bad luck that'll be. That means we're out. Is he having a few days off then, Michael? Is that what you're trying to say? It's weird, isn't it? Ever since the Mandelson affair, he's not been around. Normally he's making a video and making a prick of himself. He's not. Where is he? This has got to be deliberate. Why wasn't Keir Starmer yesterday? Why wasn't he yesterday in New York? I don't get it. I smell a rat. Is there a big scandal about to break? I don't know. I literally don't know. But it's so odd. And the mainstream press aren't saying anything. Maybe he's really ill. I don't know. But I would say at a time like this, we need our leader, even if he is as bad as him. What we got here? Guitar Man 14. Are we live? Yes, we're live. Yes, we are live. Refresh, says Magpie. Evening, John. I'd like to talk how brave Charlie Kirk's wife was the other night. How good was she? And even saying she forgives the murderer. We've got to say at this moment, the suspected murderer. Just the law. I watched it live and it was so emotional. You've got to love her. Yeah, her name's Erica, isn't it, Steve? And it was amazing. I did mention it in passing yesterday. And I did say I wanted to talk about forgiveness. I mentioned the Bishop of Bedford and that book that I just think is brilliant, The Railway Man. I think forgiveness is very, very important. But if somebody killed a member of my family, murdered them in cold blood like that, I'm not sure I could find it within me to forgive. She did. And I did find it remarkable. I'd like to know what other people think. Just so if you want to comment on that, just say Charlie Kirk and then start talking about it in the comments. This is going well. A lot of people are coming forward with ideas. 15 likes. That's brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. Labour lot are bringing the UK to its knees, says Stuart Lowe. We've got to be fair, fools, Stuart. Got to be fair, Stuart. The Tories had a damn good go at that as well, didn't they, for 14 years? The whole lot of them, the whole political establishment are complete and utter con men and crooks. And as I say, self-serving pigs with their snouts in the trough. Hi, John. Get your rahs rolling, lol. Yes, very funny, Guitar Man. Yes, I'm doing that. Thank you. Elric plays games. Lefties have spent decades hating the UK flags. This is going back to the Starmer thing I was talking about, I think, and also the conversation on Twitter today, the filthy conversation from these left-wing idiots. Anyway, they spent decades hating the UK flags and calling us racist for flying them. So I know I've got no idea what Starmer thinks is going to happen with his taking the flag back thing. I agree with you, Elric. It's completely ludicrous. I think if he's not careful, it'll have the opposite effect, and it might make people kick off. If he starts giving us one of his, I don't know, the vicar's speech, the trendy vicar's speech about what our flag is and making up bullshit, it's all about diversity and it's about that. And no, it's about patriotism. It's about Britain. If it's the Union flag and if it's the flag of St. George, it's about England. And it's about saying I'm proud to be English and then British. I don't think you understand that, Keir. I think it's an area you should have kept out of. It was like when Yvette Cooper said, oh, yeah, I've got loads of bunting with Union flags on it and it's flags of St. George. I was expecting to say any minute then I've also got a thong, which is, John, stop being rude, the flag of St. George. It's just bullshit. And we don't believe it because it's not authentic, is it? Whereas when Farage wears his union flag socks, it is authentic. I mean, I wouldn't wear them. I think it looks a bit of a prat in them. But if he wants to, that's fine. I haven't got a problem. Darren Cummings, he was only supposed to have 15 minutes. He's talking about the Trump story. Guess what? It backfired. He had over 60 minutes. Yeah, he spoke for 60 minutes, 1 hour. You're right, Darren. And I was wondering, is there any other politician in Britain who could do that without notes? Well, I'll name one for you. George Galloway, who's a natural orator. I would say Nigel Farage could probably do it as well. Keir Starmer couldn't. Keir Starmer can't do more than not even a minute without looking at his notes. That's why he presents like a robot. He's useless. He's got no naturalness. He's got no flow. He's got no authenticity. But Trump has. And so Trump even made a joke, didn't he, about the escalator? He made a joke about the fact is somebody trying to stitch him up. And then he talked. He went round the world, effectively, and talked about everything that affected America and his views on it. And he spoke from the heart. Now, some of it people didn't like. I didn't agree with everything he came out with. But you've got to admire a man who can do that. And he can only do it because he believes it. Whereas Starmer, you know this. When Starmer's asked a question that isn't on the sheet and he hasn't rehearsed with Morgan, in between Morgan dipping his hand into the donations bucket, allegedly, you've got a thing where he can't cope with it. That's why when Windsor Castle, he wouldn't take questions. They curated it again, using that word in a different way, so that no one could really ask a difficult question apart from Bev Turner from GB News. I thought it was a tour de force yesterday, what he said. And I agreed with him. No country can be sovereign without borders. I agreed with him about the fact that illegal immigration basically eats away from inside like a cancer. That's my terminology. But that's what's happening. I mean, yesterday we didn't really have time to talk about the rapist, attempted rapist, should I call him, who from Ethiopia, who's just got 12 months for trying to have sex with a 14-year-old girl. There's the story coming up in Nuneaton. There's 2 or 3 in London. And like I just said earlier at the beginning of the show, 6,000 illegals with their flip-flops have arrived since Starmer proposed this 1 in, 1 out. It's 1 in, 17, no, it's 1 out, 1,700 in, isn't it? Well, last weekend it was 1,100 and something in. This weekend they reckon it's going to be huge, at least 1,000. You're only going to stop it with a deterrent. If you want to talk about that, we'll take those as well. And also, I'm also getting fed up as well of people accusing Farage of being a racist. They were saying this about Trump. Oh, he's a rapist. He's a pedo. No, he's not. He's not being convicted in a criminal court of rape. I hate people who don't know how to get their facts right. There was a civil case. He's also, how can you call him a paedophile? Well, he's saying that because, this thing about the Epstein case. Well, nothing's been proved. Nothing's even been put on trial. I'm not saying he's not. But on the Twitter mob, the left-wing mob today, just horrendous. And then they start saying, oh, and so are you, because you're supporting him. You must be a pedo. I tell you, when somebody says that to me, I don't know if you're like me, I'm a working class bloke. If somebody said that to me in public, I'd smack them right in the face. And I wouldn't stop smacking them until they carted me away. They can arrest me for it. I think it's the most horrendous thing to describe somebody. Somebody did it at one of those protests, said those fellas were pedos. No, they weren't. They were concerned fathers. And what's he done about all this? He's done jack all. Why? Because he's hiding in his bunker. That's why. Jackie Ward, what do you want to talk about? Regarding paying the illegals $2,000 to return home. Yeah, I thought, check your watch. Is it April 1st, Jackie? Unbelievable story, isn't it? I don't really have a problem with it if it means they leave. Yeah, but it's not just illegals, Jackie. They're giving it to people who've committed criminal offences. She goes on to say, it's cheaper than keeping them another month here. But it has to be on the terms that they cannot come back to the UK. Jackie, you know what it's going to be like because you're a woman of the world. They'll take the cash, go home and come back again. The stories about Afghans and Albanians going home, building mansions, having a holiday, and then coming back, opening up the hairdressers again. It's just outrageous. We're just taken for mugs. And I'll tell you what it is. A lot of the people in Labour, and I think in the Tories, they got as bad, and all started with Cameron, Hugger Hoodie, and all that bullshit. Do you remember? I think there's people who want to see the best in people. Sometimes, Jackie, and I'm sure you agree, you got to be a bit cynical based on your own experience. My old father-in-law passed away 5 years ago, lovely bloke, but he used to say, everything's chronic. That was one of his expressions. And then he'd say, they're all bastards. And it's probably easier to start from the principle that they're bastards than they're nice people. I know it's not very Christian, but I think there's an element of truth in that. Or am I wrong? Don't forget, you can talk about any one of these subjects. Jackie Ward, as a mate of mine said about the right money to get back in again. Yeah, you're right. It's not going to stop them. It's not going to stop them at all. Oh, Andy's back now. I thought you were going to Portugal. Can we not deport you? Digital ID, Gaunty. I want to talk about that. As you know, I'm a computer scientist techie. I do know that. Does anyone have any idea what it takes to implement? I can't see it being soon, if at all. No, I think it's a little bull, Andy. I don't want it anyway. I used to be in favour of it. I used to have the view, if you got nothing to hide, you got nothing to worry about. But not now, not after COVID, because they want to keep a check on you. They do. And this latest thing, what is it? If you take about more than 250 quid out of the bank, you can't take it straight away. They want to ask you what you're going to do with it. It's my fucking money. I'll do what the hell I want to do with it. What's it going to do with you? They're worried that you're going to buy drugs with it or something. I don't know. I can understand if you're going to put a load of cash in the bank, why they'd want to know. I mean, I'd do the easy thing. I'd open a barber's like everybody else is. Peter Adams. 5:45 a.m. here in Fiji. I thought you lived in Hungary. I'm on the beach listening to Gaunty and watching the sunrise. Does it get any better? Peter, I hate you. In fact, if you're in Fiji, you can send me a $5. I don't know what their currency is, but get yourself down the get your mobile out and send me a $5. Come on, you cheeky sod. I know you've done it before and you're a good lad. Have a lovely holiday. I'd love to go there. I really would. Jim Garfield, John, the left are angry after Trump's barnstorming performance. They tried to scupper it by taking down the autocue. He then went 57 minutes without notes and hammered home his points. Yeah, can you imagine him on that? What's that minute? Just a minute radio program. I only say this. I saw the woman who's taken over. Sue somebody. I should know. They used to stand it. Her and the blonde one. They used to stand in for me at BBC London sometimes. Fucking hell, it took me forever to get the audience back. Can you imagine my audience? Sue Perkins, what's the other one called? You know what I mean? They're okay at what they do. They're a poor man or poor feminists, French and Saunders. And I never really found them very funny either, especially not Dawn French. I think Jennifer Saunders is great and absolutely fabulous, was brilliant. But anyway, I can't remember Sue Perkins, she's called. I don't know what the other one's called. But anyway, she's on the One show last night and she's taken over Just a Minute. I was thinking about Trump. Can you imagine him on that? He'd be the world champion. He'd just come in and talk about anything. He's got the gift of the gab, and that's why he got elected. It's like me. I'm just good at talking. My mum used to say, your mouth will get you to make $1 million or you'll end up in prison. Well, she was kind of half right. What she didn't put is the bit in between where I'd lose it all, piss it all up the wall, because I'm stupid. Anyway, no time for self-pity. No one is donating. Come on. Send some cash to keep these going. You know you love it. I see the digital ID as the government will make all UK use it to log on to all websites. Yeah, they've already done it with porn sites. I can see them doing that. And allow them to track our web habits and posts more easily. Welcome to the tyrannical dictatorship. Yeah, I think you might be right, Elric. I tell you what's interesting on that, my friend. Do you see Katie Hopkins? The police came around and knocked on her door. You've put up a tweet and we want to talk to you about it. Anyway, I'm not going to repeat the words she used, and please don't you, even in the comments. But she described herself as somebody that nowadays the charity Scope look after. It's a horrible word. It's a word from years ago. But they wanted to talk to her about that because they said, we're thinking of prosecuting you. Now, put aside that the word's not very nice. She was talking about herself. She wasn't saying that Jon Gaunt, he's a fat, and then that word. It's ludicrous. You can't even describe yourself as a moron anymore. It's just madness. So, but you can tell with her, she's quite looking forward to the fact she might physically get arrested. Anyway, that's what I think. Graham Fletcher's talking about Starmer. I tell you, it's weird reading the comments as they're coming up, because I'm in my brain thinking, well, which one's that one referring to? Which subject? I can't believe how many different subjects we're talking about. Why haven't I got a job on mainstream radio? Does anybody know? Huh? Graham Fletcher says he's in 10 Downing Street. He's talking about Starmer, working on his speech for Friday. He probably is. But he's got a problem, because this Morgan McSweeney geezer, he seems to be up to his neck in it. And I've got to say, even though I don't like the guy, Glenda Jackson's son, you know, the one was born with not just a silver spoon in his gob, but the whole bloody canteen of cutlery, Dan, whatever his name is. He broke this story, and he's kept at it like a terrier. And it does smell. It does smell. 750 grand donated, and he knew he should have declared it, and he didn't. They're twisting on this one. This could be, well, I've said it many times, the final blow, but perhaps not. Stuart Lowe says, true. I don't know what you're talking about there, but thanks. Andy says, tried sending you a £5, John, but being away, I cannot. I'll try again tomorrow when there's more blood in my alcohol system. Yeah, all right, I believe you. You're in Portugal. You can definitely send it from Portugal, because my mate sent me some. But hey, Andy, I'm not going to fall out with you. Thank you very much, and I know you contributed before. Graham Fletcher, he's practicing what to say. He's probably having voice lessons. Because didn't Starmer, that was the whole thing, wasn't it? He had the voice coach round. The woman who used to look after the bloke, Confessions of a Window Cleaner, Robin, she used to look after him. And then she was looking after Starmer's vocal cords. He was tickling his tonsils. That's what they said. Even on Christmas Day during COVID. Was that him or was that Boris? No, it was him. He had to learn how to speak. How do these divs get anywhere near power? That's what I want to know. Starmer has made himself a prisoner in this country. There's nowhere he can go, but he brought it on himself. Yeah, that first pub, was it in Devon, guys and girls? The first pub he got banned from. That guy now should have a blue plaque. I was the first to ban Starmer. Because he's even been banned by Jeremy Clarkson, hasn't he? He won't have him in the pub. I tell you one thing that Jeremy Clarkson's also done. He's banning faddy eaters. I don't blame him. It's okay to be faddy when you're a kid. But when you get older, if you say things like, oh, I don't like cauliflower, I don't like broccoli, you just need taking outside and smacking over the head with a Bain Marie. Or was that a bit severe? Annette Locke, I will not be listening to him. I have zero interest in his bullshit. Annette, I'm not sure that's a good idea, my friend. I would listen to him if I was you. It's like I read The Guardian now and again. I have to get a bath in Dettol afterwards, but you have to know what your enemy is saying. I remember when I first got living with Lisa, before we got married. Well, she had me on approval 7 years. I thought it was like a catalogue. She'd send me back after the weekend. Did you do that when you were young? Me and my mum. Well, not me and my mum. My mum did it. She was a Grattan's agent. She'd get stuff to be delivered on a Thursday. And by Monday, we were told if we wore it not to get it dirty. Because come Monday, she sent it back and said it was the wrong size. Happy days. I was going to tell you something. Oh, yeah. When I first started living with Lisa, I said, I'm just going to get a bath. All right. So when I got a bath anyway, got out of the bath. She goes upstairs. She comes running back down and said, what are you doing up there? I said, what do you mean? It stinks of disinfectant, Dettol. I said, oh, yeah, I always put it in my bath. She said, you what? I said, I put Dettol, just a capful in my bath, because it's good for you if you've got cuts or abrasives. What do you call it? Scuffs from the carpet. She said, have you got any? I said, no. I said, that's because I'm using the Dettol. And she thought I was mad. She thought I was like, I tell you who told me about this. It was my Auntie Rosemary, who was a matron. But evidently that's not what you should do. I still, if she's away, I love having a bath with Dettol. Anybody else do that? Let me know. That's like when I was at university and we did a Joe Orton play. Brilliant play, right? Gay guy he was, fantastic. But he wrote a play. I can't remember which one it is. But anyway, we were reading the play at university in Birmingham, and there's a scene in it where the granddad takes his teeth out, puts them on the bedside cabinet, and puts Dettol on top of them, or no, bleach. And all the middle class people around me, they all laughed and said, "Oh, imagine doing that! Oh. Why are you laughing, John?" I said, "Well, that's what my granddad does all the time." I didn't see the fun in it at all. It's like when they used to get there. I was treated like the village idiot. "Do you want spaghetti? We're having a dinner party. Would you like to come round?" This Cape girl said, really posh she was. Her dad owned half of Yorkshire. I said, "Yeah, I'd love to. What we having?" She said, "Spaghetti." I went to meet my mate Simon. I said, "I'm going round there tonight," and she's offered me spaghetti. That's not much of a dinner, is it? Well, a bit of steak or whatever. He just looked at me and said, "You plonker. She means spaghetti. Have you never had proper spaghetti, dried spaghetti?" No. Anyway, he told me what it was. And anyway, after that, I loved it. I'd never had it. They just took the mickey because I was working class. Stuart Lowe, Keir Starmer can't find his bottom with both hands. We'll leave that one there. Trump didn't talk for an hour. He rambled on and on for an hour. Oh, shut up, Peter. I know you're in Fiji and you're probably on the booze, but you can't deny it was a brilliant speech, Peter. Come on, don't be a lefty idiot for once. Sorry, but that's my view. Open line, I like this. You have to work hard while you're actually doing it, but don't have to do much work before. Bradley McDermott, John, I do agree with you on everything, mate, but still don't like what you said about us who would not take the jab back in COVID days, because some of us knew it was bollocks. Well, you didn't know, you just assumed and you hoped, and you were right. No, you weren't right, because the jab definitely saved lots of lives. However, I was a bit extreme. I accept that, and I've apologized for that. But I'm not going to now, for the rest of my career, have debates about COVID, all right? There's been loads of other things I've probably said that you don't agree with, and things that you've said that I don't agree with. That's called democracy, and that's called living in an open society. So, Bradley, shut up. Send me a fiver. Annette Locke, that's rich coming from them, and the cover-up of grooming gangs. What does that relate to? There was a cover-up about grooming gangs, but thank you very much. I can't work that out. John, there are many people struggling with mental health problems, and they can get no help because there's not enough money. Well, Mr. Starmer, stop giving it to the migrants and pump it into our healthcare. Can't argue. We have got to get rid of the illegals, and that's not being racist or anti-illegal immigrants. It's just being plain common sense. Magpie, 1972. What about the guy who came out of his house with a knife in London and attacked a guy in the street? He only got 12 months suspended. Well, let's tell you, let's talk. I know the story you're talking about. It was a guy who burnt the Quran in the street, wasn't it? Another guy comes out, a Muslim, not happy about this, and attacks him. He comes out with a knife, attacks him with the knife. The only thing I'll say about this, a very good friend of mine did tell me a bit more to the background to this, and I don't think the guy who burnt the Quran was necessarily 100% in the right, if you understand what I mean. I can't say much more, but what I will say, I can't see how he went to prison for doing that, and the other guy who wanted to kill him didn't. But then, did you see what happened in Leamington Spa? Guy's been arrested, so got to be very careful. But he comes into Leamington, Warwickshire College. I used to go walking past there every day for months on end. Gentle. It's right next to the place where they breed the dogs for the blind, the guide dogs. Nice, genteel Leamington Spa. Somebody comes in with a machete to sort out some business. Now, I don't want to... I know we used to have knife crime in the 50s and people like Jimmy up in Glasgow. He became a sculptor. Brilliant. Met him loads of times. Jimmy Boyle. He'd slash you and all that. You know, that did go on and, you know, the craze and the rest of it. But we didn't used to have machetes left, right and centre, did we? Until we had this level of, dare I say it, immigration. Maybe I'm wrong. Where are we going next? Oh, God, there's so many of you. We'll have to do this again, won't we? Don't want to rub it in, John, but after Fiji, it's Tokyo, Osaka, then over to Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam, and then Cambodia, back home in 29 days' time. That's all right. 29 times 5. How much is that? Just under 150 quid. You can give me a fiver a day. That'll teach you for bragging. Annette Locke. That's what my mum said about me. What was that? Was that something I said earlier? Oh, you'd either be in prison or you'd be a millionaire. Me and you, Annette. Just a minute, radios. Longest radio quiz, said Mick Smith. Yeah, that's what I was just talking about. Imagine Trump on that. It'd have to be just an hour, wouldn't it? Eh? I did like that show. Was it Nicholas Parsons, the original host? I think he was. Katie Hopkins seems to have used appropriate words in the circumstances. Yes, thank you for not using the word. But yeah, I did think that myself to a certain extent. Hi, John. Piss it up the wall. My late brother-in-law, Barry, used to say that too. It must be a Coventry saying. You might remind me of him so much. Bless him. Well, you just told me he's dead. You think I resemble somebody who's dead? Pulling your leg, Richard, but thank you very much indeed. I hope you're enjoying the show, guys. If you are, about contributing a little bit, this is something a bit different. You know, if you were listening to Talk Radio or GM, whatever it's called, or one of those things, they only do one subject. They never say, oh, let's go commando. This is the radio equivalent of going commando style. Although I am wearing my boxer shorts. Right, where we get nothing else, but there we are. John, what's this one? We didn't declare 750 grand will be jumped on by the HMRC. Yeah, well, precisely. And that's why this could bring down the government. Okay. John, I know the Katie Hopkins arrest has been noted in the USA, including our American broadcast friend, Cigar Dave. Yeah, he's a brilliant broadcaster. I like Cigar Dave a lot. Thank you for that. I've been known to put Dettol in my bath, says Peter, 2704. I bet you I can get 5 people. When Lisa comes back in from work tonight, I'll tell her, get this on your bloody audit sheet, love. 5 people agreed with me. Dettol in the bath is not plebeian. It's perfectly acceptable behaviour. Right? So if you've ever had Dettol in your bath, let me know. 100% John. Oh, straight away. Paul Stentiford says 100% John on the Dettol. He's done it as well. Thank you very much indeed. Steve, thank you very much. The first donator of the evening. Gaunty, you're worth more than £2, but every bit helps. Well, of course it does, Steve, and I thank you very much indeed for that. Here's another Steve. John, I had Dettol in the bath. See, I don't mean just as kids. I mean as grown-ups. When you could buy your own Dettol. Or do you do it now? Who wants to confess to loving a bit of Dettol? I mean, I never really understood why people had things like Radox cubes or all that stuff. You come out smelling like a Bavarian brothel. Not that I've ever been in a brothel in Bavaria, but you understand where I'm coming from. Nothing wrong with coming out smelling a bit of Dettol. Then you splash a bit of Brute. Do you remember that? Oh, I tell you what about high karate? That stank, didn't it, eh? Hey? You put that on, your Oxford bags, your blooming, what do you call those big shoes? Spoons. Before platforms, yeah? Before platforms, spoons. I had some that were dark brown on the outside and a lighter brown on the inside. And then a Coca-Cola or a Wrigley's chewing gum plastic belt. Do you remember? And then if you had some money, down SMC boutique in Coventry Precinct, and you'd buy a star jumper. They were yellow with ribbon at the bottom, yeah? 3 stars on it and tight, yeah? Blokes who weren't fat like me, they used to wear them without even a shirt on underneath. They look great. I look like Rowley out of Grange Hill. What's he called right anyway? Oh, did you see EastEnders last night? I'm finishing now because I'm running out of material. But EastEnders last night, do you see where the girls were smacking 7 barrels of you-know-what out of each other? That's what we want in a soap opera. I'll have a bit more of that, please. Steve says, I still have Dettol in the bath, and I'm 56, John. Thank you. Only got a shower now, so can't do another Dettol treatment. Oh, yeah, Steve Palmer. I feel for you. There's nothing better than soaking in a bath with a newspaper and falling asleep. Wake up and the paper's all wet. Anyway, Dettol smells much better than TCP. Oh, yes. Your mum always wanted you to have TCP. No, not for me. I was a Dettol boy. Definitely a Dettol boy. In fact, I still think I've got a bottle of Dettol, probably dusty in. You got like a bathroom cupboard under the sink. I'm sure if I went in there, I could probably find the guy out of High Karate as well. And 2 Japanese soldiers who still think the war's on. I had a job where a lot of dirt got into your skin pores. I had dental baths to help feel clean again. That's maybe where it came from. I've never done manual labour, but I just used to love the smell of it. Oh, yeah, I'm going into local radio territory. Careful. What's your favourite smell? Got to be tarmac, innit? It's got to be tarmac or creosote. People don't use creosote anymore, do they? God, I used to love that. Just seen on GB News that there's been 2 million US deportations. Our government must be embarrassed at our pathetic effort. Yeah, there was about, what was it they did the other week? A few thousand, no, a few hundred. And then 4 on this one in, one out. I'm sorry, Jackie. I've come to the conclusion they don't want to get rid of them. That's just my view. Well, I enjoyed that. Thank you very much indeed. That was something different. We won't do it every day and we won't do it every week. I just thought sometimes, let's just toss something in there and see what comes out the other end. Now can't get proper creosote anymore. Reminds me of grandfather's workshop. Happy days. Thank you, Steve Palmer. No, you probably can't. It's probably bad for you. I used to know this old boy in Coventry. He used to do the radio with me sometimes, Georgie Herbert, and he had all these old cures. He was about 90 then. He's dead now. He passed away. But he used to tell me about, a coal tar soap. I love the smell of that. But originally, if you had a bad cold, in the 30s, this is what he told me. Maybe I'm just being naive because I believed him. He said, your mum would give you a piece of rope and you go out in the street behind the tar man, right? And that's rude. Dip your rope in the tar. Bring it back in. You go to bed and you put this rope on the bed head, yeah? Or around your neck when you went to sleep. Wake up in the morning, cold's gone. Gone completely. You got a big fucking dead black bar around your neck, but you haven't got a cold. That's what he said. Anyway. John, I can't use Dale in the bath because I have a walk-in wet room. Ooh, a wet room? I had one of them when I was a student. It was just a lav overflowing. We were sat at the next table to you in a VIP lounge at the Rico. Your guests took the rip out of my sisters because of their West Country accents. Combine harvester, tractor, etc. Oh, I've got a brand new combine harvester. When Cov played Bristol City around 2007-ish, maybe you can remember. I can remember. Was that over 2 legs? I can definitely remember the leg at Bristol. I went with my mate Banger, again, rest in peace, marvellous man, one of Coventry's hardest men. He was my bodyguard when I was semi-famous. We went to Bristol. We're in the VIP seats, and it kicked off with you bunch of West Country bumpkins, and a few yobbos jumped in. Ah, I do remember that. I think it was over 2 legs. Maybe you weren't at the first leg. Anyway, I like Bristol. Was it Bristol City or Bristol Rovers? I always get them mixed up. Favourite smell? Freshly cut grass. Yeah, I like it. God bless, John. Nice apologies. I'll send you a £5, mate. Oh, you mean me apologising about the COVID thing? I'm just telling the truth I could do about everything. I was, I think I was a bit stir crazy, maybe like we all were. I don't know. But also, I was surrounded by idiots who just thought it didn't matter. Anyway, I might have got it wrong. John, do you think Coventry will go up this season? Go up where? Oh, in the division. Yeah, well, they deserve to because they are brilliant. And I got that wrong as well. I said the appointment of Frank Lampard was a big mistake and Doug King didn't know what he was doing, the chairman. And I've got to say, Lampard's come in and they're playing brilliantly. I still feel sorry for Mark Robbins. I think he was a nice bloke and he did the best he could. Do I think they'll go up? Well, they've got to start winning, haven't they? I know they're unbeaten and that sounds great, but if you're only picking up 1 point a game, it ain't enough. Just my view. But we're playing Birmingham this weekend, so that's 3 points in the bag. I was talking to Derby, Ben the Ram from Derby. He sends me messages every time Coventry lose, but of course we've beaten them the last 2 games. But he's a Derby fan, and he said, "I see you got Birmingham," and I sent him back a very rude message to which he just put the thumbs up. I was a bit too rude, because actually out of the clubs in Birmingham City, I like because my best mate Jim in Birmingham, sadly fallen ill with dementia, but he was a great geezer. He's a great geezer, I should say. But he was a big Brummie fan, but not the Villa. Anyway, I do like Big Ron, so I'm a bit conflicted there as well. I think I'm going to stop being controversial. I think I'm going to go bland and play 5 records in a row and be a DJ. Steve Palmer. Oh, Steve, you're a good man. Keep the good work going, John. You're going great guns. Thank you. And he's just put in a $5, $4.99. He's pressed that little $sign. Thank you, Steve. That's really much appreciated. Lisa will be back doing a little ledger. She's like Ebenezer Scrooge. Well, she's like Bob Cratchit. She sits in the corner scratching it. No, she sits in the corner doing the accounts, right? And then turn around and I guess I'm Ebenezer. I throw another peasant on the fire to keep us warm. And we hope we're going to get off the breadline soon. Who knows? I did say to her, look, I did it once. In fact, I did it twice, Lisa. We ended up with nothing. I did it. I come back and wrote a book about it. You know, it'll happen again. And then she just looks at me and she goes, you know that look women give you? It's where it's like the telly when it's on the blink. You got pictures, but you got no sound. But you don't need the sound because you know what she's saying. She said, you're 64. It was crushing. It was absolutely crushing. Because I still think I'm young. I was talking to Mikey, my brother-in-law, about this the other day. When I'm in company, I always think I'm the youngest there, but I'm usually the oldest. What's that all about? Anyway. No, I'm Bristol-born. Lol. I'm Bristol-born, Cov bred. Oh, well, I'll put up with you then. Fair enough. That's the geezer who saw me in the VIP lounge. The VIP lounge. It's a porter cabin with a bit of wood chip on the walls. It's not quite as bad as Luton Town's director's box, which is a definite skip, but it ain't much better than that. Mind you, my old mate Frank used to say he was really camp. He was just brilliant. And he used to say, Gaunty, we all had lino before we had shag pile. And I just thought that was the funniest line. And Lisa and I, you know, because we've been together now nearly 40 years, we'd be somewhere and someone's putting on airs and graces. And one of the others will look at them, look at the other one and just go, shag pile. Or just go, we all had lino. And the two of us just crack. Do you have things like that with your missus? You must have. We all had lino before we had shag pile. Anyway, I'm back on the lino myself. But remember, John, you won't beat the mighty Whites, Leeds United. Come on. Well, yeah, okay. You're in the Premier, aren't you now? Good luck to you. Although you're not doing very well, are you? Didn't you sack your manager? John, I totally agree with you about what the government don't want to deport as many migrants as Trump. Well, I'm going to go now. John, do you still believe grown men shouldn't have names on the back of their football shirts? Yeah, I think I do. That said, when I left BBC London, I loved it there as well. They got me a shirt, but they couldn't get a Coventry one because in those days you couldn't buy Coventry shirts if you weren't in Coventry. They got me a Chelsea one. I don't know why, but that had Gaunty on the back, and it had 40. Was it 50? It was whatever age I was. But no, yeah, I think most blokes look stupid in football shirts. That said, I have got the Coventry one. The third kit from a few years ago. It's the Coventry Cathedral, the window. Have you seen that one? It's like a fashion shirt. It's beautiful. It's a very nice shirt. I mean, I'll wear it tomorrow, and you can tell me whether you think it's nice. But have you seen the one we got now, the away kit? It's orange, but on the telly it looks pink. And it's got Monza on it. Why would you want to go out dressed like a fucking credit card? Give me a nightmare, that would. As most of my credit cards in my life ended up getting snipped in half. It's not for me. Jackie Ward, 3 hearts. Thank you very much, darling. I can go now because you've done that. I think that's Jackie. Jackie has become like Morecambe and Wise. Yeah. They want to sing the song at the end. Yeah. Bring me sunshine. And then Eric walks across with his carrier bag, doesn't he? And his flat cap and his thing. And he sees Ernie dancing. To me, one of the greatest moments in any British TV. There we are. Thank you. That's me done. Thanks for everybody who's contributed. Steve Palmer sent me 5 stars as well. That's marvellous. You can still donate now if you want. You go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt. I had a load of that yesterday because we were just getting in before the closure for that week. So thank you for that. And please keep telling people about the show. Let's keep building the numbers. We're at 1.1 million views, which I just simply can't believe. We only got to try and get to 2 million. as soon as possible. But we've also got to get the subscribers. I looked before we came on. We're just shy. I think we're about 700. No, not 700. What are you on about, John? How many? 70 underneath 5,000 subscribers. My ambition is to get 10,000. Okay. If you could do that, that would help. John, have you got another book coming out? I've written a book. I had a publisher. Then I decided I wasn't happy with the deal. And then I was hoping, I'll get on national radio again soon, so I'll get a better deal. Remember that expression, bird in the hand? That's what I should have done. But it's there. And I should really write another one. Don't really have time. John, thank you for another awesome live stream. As always, keep up your fantastic work. And Pam Millett, she's not said anything, so it's just gone blank. But thank you, Pam. Yeah, right, that's me done. I shall see you tomorrow at 6:30. Until then, if you've got kids, and let me know whether you enjoyed this show, this kind of free wheeling show. We won't do it all the time, but now and again. And if you're new to it and it's your first time, thank you very much indeed for joining in. Remember, though, the most important thing, if you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug. Hey, hey, hey. Don't forget to tell them you love them. See ya.